Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call the meeting to come to order tonight for the Board of Commissioners and Acting Mayor Pro Temp Mark Taylor up here running the meeting tonight. So first off, I'd like to thank all of you for coming out. It's nice seeing a full house here. It's a pleasure having you come out and being part of our meeting tonight. This is what the town government's all about, is having people out. It's a very special night for us tonight, and we're very excited to have so many people out here part of the meeting. At this time, I'd like to call Town Clerk, Ms. Welburn, to call roll call, please.
Mayor Holland. Mayor Pro Tem Taylor.
Here.
Commissioner Brownlow.
Here.
Commissioner Sanderson. Here. Commissioner Sawyer. Commissioner Wooten.
Here. I'd like to, if somebody could, please.
I'd like to make a motion, please, to excuse Mayor Holland and Commissioner Sawyer from tonight's meeting.
There's a motion on the floor. All in favor? Aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, passed. They're excused. Opening prayer, if you please, if you would kindly bow your heads, and I'll take that one unless someone else would like to have it at this point. Oh, Heavenly Father, I want to thank each person for coming out here. Thank you for being with us tonight. Please be with us as far as this board sitting up here. Let us make what's the best decisions for each person in Emerald Isle and for our city. Watch after each one of us and just be with us. We need you more than ever in these trying times with the U.S., with our town. We're all very lucky to live and letting you live in an area that we get to enjoy and call home. And just thank you. Amen.
Amen.
All right, at this time, if we stand and please say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, just a little bit of house cleaning. Being a commissioner and then being the mayor pro temp, we step in as mayor pro temp. You're appointed mayor pro temp by your colleagues up here. And since I was the senior guy, they were nice enough to appoint me as the mayor pro temp. And I just fill in for whatever reason the mayor might not come at some meetings sometimes. So it's my honor to serve as your temporary mayor tonight. And I take it, and it's quite an honor to be in this seat at this time. One of the things that we have to do, though, if I ever get into a debate with one of the other commissioners out here, another person has to take charge of the meeting for a minute. I don't plan on getting in a hot debate. But if that does happen, you never know what might happen in local government, then Commissioner Sanders will take over as the meeting as we're debating about something at a time, and then I'll become mayor pro temp again. And that's just a house cleaning issue that we have to state out publicly to start with. So if that does happen, I don't plan on that happening, and if it does, I do apologize already for that, but I don't plan on being unprofessional. So that being said, there's the next thing that comes up on the agenda here is a presentation of Emerald Isle Fishing Tournament scholarships. We started this back about 6 years ago. This will be our 7th year that we're getting into this tournament. I started it with our last manager that was here for a while. That's now our new manager, Mr. Frank Rush. I'd like to first off welcome Frank back into the hot seat over there. He has now been appointed as the new town manager again after serving about 17 years before, and you're back again, and we're planning on at least getting 17 more out of him again. That's the plan anyway. But the good thing is Frank helped get this fishing tournament started. The fishing tournament's been probably one of the best things that I've ever got to do, especially acting as a commissioner here. And over the last 6 years, we've given back to the community, whether it be in scholarships or other thing. We just topped over $100,000, so we're so happy. It's all volunteers. It's a one-day fishing tournament. It happens in late September. And tonight, all of you are getting to enjoy 6 new students that are coming out each, and they're going to get a $3,000 scholarship apiece. And we've been able to do that every year but our first year, and I think we gave 2 out our first year, if I remember correctly. But I've got Mr. John Wood, that is one of our volunteers that heads up now the scholarship program. Dr. Ron Demick had to move out of the area about a couple of months ago due to some family issues, and now John has taken over, and he's going to be the new scholarship head up. So what I'm going to do is ask John to come up here. We're going to go up to the front, and then we're going to call up our candidates, and we're going to award them these scholarships right now. John Wood here, by the way. Probably most of you know him. He's a local mortgage broker here in the town, and super nice guy. Helps out a lot with the tournament, and just a really, really, really good guy. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
We have 6 winners this year, $3,000 scholarships. Please join me in congratulating the following individuals. Please come forward when you hear your name. Mackenzie Moyer from Croatan High School. Gavin Pesco, Croatan High School. Caden Atchison, Croatan High School. Ruby Parker, West Carteret High School. Maggie Murray, East Carteret High School. And Dylan Tradewell, Croatan High School. Congratulations to all of our winners.
So, ladies and gentlemen, these are our winners each year. Each one of them got a $3,000 scholarship for our tournament. Thanks to all our sponsors that came out and made this happen. Thanks to all of y'all and the people that came to our benefit auction. We raised all this funds through the benefit auction the Friday night before. We have it right here at the rec center, and you're welcome to come out to it. We do a big barbecue dinner. We cook all the stuff up. This is how we raise the funds to get these scholarships out. Most of the fishing tournament just kind of pays for itself, and the winners of that get that money back. But the way we get the money for these young future leaders in our community here is through that Friday night event that we have. And it's going to be the last full weekend in September this year, so please come out, check it out, and be part of it. And if we can have the families come up to them too, we'll do a big picture with the families and all that. We've got, that'd be great if your family members like to come up, and we'll get a shot of that, and then we'll continue on with the meeting after that. Once again, thanks, all y'all, thanks for applying, and they're amazing people. All right, thank y'all again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And ladies, and once again, there's another good thing. The tournament kind of raised a little extra money too. And the chairs you're sitting in right now, we noticed last year at the rec center, we were a little short with some chairs, and we were trying to put this on. Most of the time we had it at the Islander, but we kind of outgrew the Islander last year, so we decided to have it at the rec center. So we had raised a little extra money, and the way this tournament works is, at the end of the tournament, whatever money we get, we give it back to the community, and then we kind of start over again, almost broke, and then we try to build the money back up again to happen again. But luckily this year, we raised enough money where we were able to get 40 of those, that black tables off to your right there. So we got 40 brand new tables that were donated to the rec center, along with 240 of those chairs. You're actually sitting in the chairs right now that we got. So there's 240 of those chairs and 40 of those things that the Emerald Isle Fishing Tournament was able to donate to. So once again, I can't thank the volunteers enough to help me out with it. And if you want to get into a fun project and be part of the fishing tournament, just reach out to me. We're always looking for volunteers, and we can always use the extra help. So thank you very much. Thanks for that, letting us do that. All right, let's move
Great
it.
job, Mark.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is public comment. It says it's limited to 3 minutes per person, so if you would kindly stick to that 3 minutes. I don't want to be known as the one that made the meeting last past midnight tonight, so I'll call you out, after 3 minutes. Usually Jason has a little flag or something up here. I'll figure something out and say, hey, your 3 minutes is up, and we'll go from there. But if you don't mind, please try to hold it to the 3 minutes. I know it's important what you're saying. Most of the commissioners up here, we're here to listen. And then what happens next is we
we reply back to it through public notes and through public comments, and usually there's a printout at the back sheet back there that talks about what the last comments were from the last meeting and stuff. Oh, thank you, sir, thank you. So there's a little flag, thanks, Chief. So when you see the flag waving in the air, that means your time's up, please move on, and we'll go from there. At this time, I'd like to put a motion on the floor to open up for public comment, please.
A motion to have public comment.
All right, all in favor? All right, there you go. All right, we're in public comment.
All right, first up is Irv Monclova.
Mr. Irv.
Would like to have everybody get up and hold Is that working? Everybody hear me okay? He's the one that first met with me at my request to see if we could start a neighborhood watch program here in town. He received me for the first time. I have never talked to him before. With a smile, he said, "Great, go see the police chief." I did. Police chief said, "Go see Lieutenant Waters." Lieutenant Waters kept me for two hours. We went through all the types of neighborhood watch programs, et cetera, et cetera. We agreed we would do what we're doing today. A passive program, however, a form that gives every person that is a full-time or an owner that is not here, a checklist of the things to do to be more safe and protect their equipment better and the neighbors. So Frank certified my street back in '09. 5 years later, Lieutenant Waters became the chief of police. And he called a meeting just like this, as many people as I see here today, on the 14th of December of 2014. And he presented his agenda to this board, to these people, and to the board. And his agenda was the PEP program, Police with a Cop, and the Neighborhood Watch program. And in that meeting, I was asked to brief on what we did in Arthur Drive, which this man here had certified that street as the first street with a captain, me, captain of that street, and he placed two symbols on each entrance of the street as a memento for the future, for an example of a street that is neighborhood watch protected. Then, when Jeff Waters became chief, who he selected by him, Jeff Waters came to this place here and explained what his agenda was, and asked me to make a presentation on what we did on Arthur Drive. Frank had already agreed, I think, because the way it went, by acclamation, they asked me to be the chairman of a committee to certify the whole town as a neighborhood watch community. So in that very first section, we went ahead and recruited 9 members, and a year later, we had enough people for the chief of police to go to Frank. We held a very tremendous party at the Episcopal Church, at the Baptist Church, with the police and their wives and the friends and the town leadership. and we were able to certify the town as a neighborhood watch community. And Frank, again, directed that signs be placed at both entrances to the town on the west and on the east. So I just give you that example because his style of management was one individual like me that he didn't even know very well at all, made a suggestion and he carried it all the way through, all the way, and made it happen. That's enlightened leadership.
Earl, thank you. Thank you very much for,
One quick one.
yes, sir.
I congratulate the Board of Commissioners because on your very first meeting, you made a decision that will go in history as one of the legacies of that board. You approved $65,000 to get the Christmas lights back on the street.
Thank you, Earl.
And I thank you for that.
I thank you for donating your private money also, Earl. We know you did that too.
Last but not least, today is the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army. My father served 4 years in the First World War. My son, 2 years in the Korean War. I served in Vietnam. My other son also served in Vietnam during the war. We're proud to be Americans. And I say, USA, USA.
Next up, Ronnie Watson.
Mr. Watson?
Mary Ann said she's going to trip. I don't think I can go without you. Man, what a great speech.
No doubt.
You did a fantastic job. What I wanted to tell y'all, I've sent all of y'all an email today, and most of you know we're fixing to get a hospital here in Cedar Point. And I'm hoping that y'all will support, I know you will, but we need this hospital that's coming to Cedar Point, because if you look at the people that's moving down here, you know, the age group, and we don't, like I say, if somebody has a heart attack or breaks an arm, you know, they can go right there at Cedar Point. It's going to be about a $50 million project. And I hope that y'all will support that. We get the people out because we got to raise some money. And I just wanted to say that too. But Frank, congratulations. We're glad you're back. And we thank you for everything you've done. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
Tyrone Gaharin.
Welcome, sir.
I'm Tyrone Gahagan. I live at 110 Black Skimmer. First of all, I went through your budget. I think it's a great budget, and I emailed you and with some things. Also, I'm here. I would like the town to consider putting the trash cans back at the Black Skimmer and beach access. It's one of the busiest accesses here. Everybody in our neighborhood takes their carts down there. You can't take the carts down the other beach accesses because of the steps. There's no trash cans at our access. There's been trash cans at that access since I began coming down here in the 70s. I moved here permanently last November. And there's been trash cans at that entrance except for the last year or two. Also, I'd like you to consider reinstating the project that was put on in July for the post and rope beach access that somehow just disappeared off the projects. That access is now about 14 feet wide. So the plat shows it as a 25-foot access. If you're going down there with the emergency vehicle where seconds count for somebody in the beach, somebody's going down there with their cart and kids, somebody else is going to get hurt. And it's a simple fix. There's nothing there that it can't be widened. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Michael Westbrook.
Welcome, Mr. Westbrook.
Well, mine's not quite as elaborate as these other ones, especially that first gentleman. He was pretty amazing. Mine has to do with golf carts, a subject that people either hate or love. There's no in between, I can tell you that. Me personally, I mean, I do 2 or 3 miles a day, so I don't really use a golf cart, but a lot of people do. Also, specifically to Deerhorn Dunes at the end of Deerhorn Drive, there are 7 spots there. And if I remember correctly, I'm sure Mr. Frank can correct me if I'm wrong from dealing with the previous Matt Zapp, there's about 40-some golf carts in the area where we are. Not only that, but there's a lot of rentals in those 7 slots as well. Anytime there's between 2 and 3 of the rentals taking up the spots. And so you wind up, the people park, and then the police come along and give you a $50 ticket. So there needs to be either some consideration for people who live here to be able to park golf carts without the worry of a ticket, or we need to have more golf cart spaces. Like I said, as a rule, I'm doing 2 or 3 miles a day, so I don't really use a golf cart, but a lot of people do, especially down Deerhorn Drive. At any given time when I go out, either for a walk or a jog or ride my bike or whatever it may be, there'll be a dozen or more people walking down Deerhorn Drive and probably 2 or 3 golf carts trying to get on the same road, and then you have regular traffic on top of that. So really need to consider how we can address that. I did talk to this a couple, 3 years ago with the golf cart committee and got, I would say, a bit part of an adversarial view from Matt Zapp. So it really didn't go as far as I wanted it to go. I did put my name in for consideration for the golf cart committee, haven't heard anything back. I'm not advocating that you have 50 golf carts somewhere, but 7 is awful tight when you got 30 or 40 golf carts in the resident area plus the rentals. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
John Roberts.
Welcome, Mr. Roberts.
Stopwatch going.
Oh.
I almost hate to bring this before y'all, but that's why I wrote things out and should have emailed it ahead of time. But this past Saturday, we were attending the surfing competition and had let my wife and child off at the top of the hill, and I came down Bogue Inlet Drive and saw a parking place, because the parking lot up there was full, and parked. I looked intently for no parking signs, didn't see one, so I parked. There were also a couple other people in front of me that were parking. So went up there and attended the competition with our nephews, came back, van was gone, walked inside and asked what had happened. They said, it's been towed. So I had to go through the process of finding out who towed it, where it was, called, not getting an answer, and then called back and was talked to about as rudely as I've ever been talked to by the individual. I was a bit heated because I said, here you guys have taken our van, a handicapped van, leaving my wife and daughter on the side of the road in 86-degree temperatures on top of the asphalt. So that's my reason for coming here. I looked up what regulations I could, and it states clearly to me that parking lots with no parking sign, no parking procedures are supposed to have a sign at both entrances to the parking lot. That one did not. The only sign they had 2 signs. One was crumpled up on the ground under the bushes. The other was hidden behind their ATM machine, so you couldn't see it anyway. So my request to you is to look at the situation, consider it, because I know I'm just one of many that have had their vehicle towed on account of that. I believe it's a conspiracy or a scheme on the part of the people that own the shop there, and I feel like it has cost tens of thousands of dollars to people like myself, many of whom don't have the resources to have called somebody else to come and help them. Had we not had some local help, our daughter would be out there in terrible temperatures in a terrible situation. So I just want you to look at the policy and the ordinances that you have and consider emphasizing the procedure that you should have signs at both entrances, and they should be visible to the general public. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Sherry King.
Hi. Sherry King, Live Oak. I want to thank you all for your service, and I want to welcome our new town manager. I appreciate all of you. I think you all work hard for no money. So that's my opinion there, but I have a few things to say again. First, I'm going to back up the board. We do need a separation of the planning board and board of adjustments. I feel it would be fair to your constituents. By the way, that's where we are. That's the first thing I wanted to say. I think you need to really look hard at that and think about that for a little bit. The second thing I want to say, for probably like the 8th time, I might probably want to have a meeting with you. Can we bring back the fireworks? I'm just going to say it. I know that the ABC gave you $246,000 last year. I know that for a fact. It's public, it's online, look it up. They give us revenue, us, our town. Every town gets revenue. I don't know where it goes. I've asked everyone, no one really knows where it goes. I want you to bring back the festivals. I want you to bring back family events. I want us to be a family town again. Sorry about my voice, I'm hoarse. How about some new fall things, you know, something in the fall, something in the winter to bring revenue in. The ABC gives you money year-round, and we stop at the end of the summer. Why not keep it continuing if people are buying from them and we're making money from them, and we make money from the hotels and the Airbnbs? We make revenue. We do make revenue from that. I know we can have fireworks without the pier, because I sat with Matt Zapp and told him I had a company. It was $150,000. You go to the Army Corps of Engineers and you can anchor in the ocean. I'm from Falmouth, Cape Cod. Every year we watch them there. So I know we can have fireworks. Topsail shamed us a few weeks ago and had light up the beach for Paul Revere's ride, 250th anniversary. They're gearing up for the July 4th next year of our 250th anniversary. What are we doing? What are we doing? Are we not celebrating America? Are we not celebrating all of you? All of our policemen, everybody who, I just don't understand where we lost it. I wanted to follow him. Go USA. I'm shocked. I'm really shocked. I got a couple more things to say. Lastly, maybe we need a commission for those things to get together, maybe an events commission. I don't know. Anyways, lastly, the trash. I heard about raising taxes for the trash because there's too much trash. A woman across the street from me, older, comes down once every 4 months, pays her bills like everybody else, uses her trash once every 4 months. I have one trash can, one recycle. At the end of my street, there's a McMansion, 8 trash barrels. Your year-round residents aren't the problem. Okay? I want you to think about that. Don't push us out. Keep the family-friendly town. Keep us a family town. Think about the people that live here year-round. Please do. I'm begging you. My time's up. Have a wonderful night.
Chris Plum.
Okay, I'm here to also support the separation of the planning board and the adjustment board. I don't know if anyone took the time to know the difference between the two boards, but it's in our best interest to separate those. When you're on the planning board, you're making decisions about the development of this community. And then if you're on the adjustment board, you can't make a decision for something that you already approved on the planning board. It's just not good business. So I want everyone to think about separating those two boards because I think it's in the best interest of our community.
Thank you.
Jerry Plum. Carol Peoples.
Carol?
Is this still on? Oh, yes. Well, I just first of all want to say thank you for the support you gave last year for the beautification project that Mark came up with and started, and that we allotted the up to $6,000 for the beautiful native plant beds that are across from Food Line. If you haven't seen them, go out there and visit them. Already, we're seeing lots of beautiful things in bloom. I plan to go out and put identification signs on each of the plants so that when people visit, they'll know what they're looking at. And to the lady's point about maybe something in the fall, I think that if the town would get behind it and we did a native plant sale or native plant festival, we would be the only town in the region, and I think it would be a big draw. Just an idea. But this is sort of under the budget as well. If there are any funds available for continued beautification of the town, I would love for us to expand native plants into some of the other, 92 beds that we have here along the main highway. But I, again, just wanted to thank you all so much because it wouldn't have happened without you.
Thank you.
That's all.
All right. So the way that works, again, just for, yeah, no problem. Is there anybody else in the audience that would like to speak up that you didn't sign up? Yeah, please go ahead. Please come forward.
Good evening. I'm Mary Ann Waldrop, 103 Sandcastle Drive. I am your district county commissioner, so I'm proud to be here. And welcome, Frank. And it's been a joy to know you, Randy Martin. So please don't run too far away because we like to keep you around. So just wanted to inform the public that in addition to what Ronnie Watson had spoken of about the hospital, tomorrow at 10:30 at the Western Library will be a public hearing on that facility that Carteret Health is establishing in Cedar Point. So if you want to talk to the people from state, they are sponsoring a public hearing tomorrow at 10:30 at Western Library over on Taylor Notion Road. So thank you and good luck with the budget tonight. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner. Is there anyone else that would like to speak that didn't sign up by chance? And I do apologize for not recognizing you earlier, Commissioner. Is there any other public elected officials here that need to be recognized that I might not know? And if I am, thank you for coming, and I do apologize for not reaching out and saying earlier. If not, if that's it for all the public speaking, then we'll move on to the next item here. And that takes us till yeah, we heard you, and the follow-up to the public comment. So the way it works is all this is taken down by our clerk. The clerk will note this stuff, and then the Board of Commissioners, along with our manager, will get answers for these questions, and there'll be a printout, or I believe it's put online also. Is that correct? I know I'm putting the manager on the spot here, or the clerk on the spot here. And your answers will be online, or you can reach out to one of us for more details on if your answers are not getting answered properly. And do apologize. A couple of you, I think, said that you tried it several times and hadn't got an answer, and I apologize for that. We'll try to get better at doing what we try to do up here. Next item is number 8, the adoption of the agenda. And let me flip my page over here for my cheat notes. like to put I believe that needs to be a motion on the floor to adopt the agenda.
Make a motion to adopt the agenda.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? It passed, all in favor. All right, we, number 9 is the proclamation and public announcement. There's a public announcement video that our very own Mark Cruz has created to help us stay informed of what's going on around the area and stuff. And at this time, I'll hand this over to Mr. Cruz to do our public announcement.
It's time for the Town of Emerald Isle's public announcements. Join us Tuesday, June 17th from 10 to 11 a.m. in the Town Board Room for Police Educating the Public. Meet our officers, ask questions, and learn how we work together to keep Emerald Isle safe and connected. Emerald Fest returns Thursday nights at 6:30. Join us June 19th, June 26th, and again on July 3rd for live music and good vibes. Bring a chair and enjoy the best of local entertainment and beachside fun. Donate blood on Friday, June 20th from 1 to 5:30 p.m. at the Emerald Isle Community Center. Every donation supports our region's health and saves lives. On Saturday, June 21st, the first of 3 Adaptive Surf Project events takes place at the Eastern Ocean Regional Access, and additional dates are scheduled for August 16th and September 13th. Join us Wednesday, June 26th, from 9 to 10 a.m. for Coffee with a Cop. It's casual, it's local, and it's all about connection. Stay engaged and informed. Come to the Neighborhood Watch Meeting on Tuesday, July 1st at 4 p.m. in the Town Board Meeting Room. Your involvement helps make our community stronger. On Friday, July 4th, the Town Administrative Offices and Community Center will be closed for Independence Day. On Tuesday, July 8th, join your elected officials for the next Board of Commissioners meeting, starting at 6 p.m. in the Town Board Room. Participate, learn, and help shape the future of Emerald Isle. For full details on these and other events, visit emeraldislenc.org.
Thank you, Mark. That was helps out a lot having that up there. Thanks for your hard work and trying to get the word out to everybody. A few years back, we were having a hard time getting in touch with everybody, and I think you're a huge asset to our town. So thank you again for what you do for us. Item number 9B is employee recognition by Sergeant Lewis, and presented by Police Chief Panzarelli. If you could come up, sir, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners. Thank you for this opportunity to come before you tonight to recognize Sergeant Lewis and introduce Officer Walker Hess and Dakota Willis. Sergeant Lewis joined our department back in July of 2023. He was recently promoted back in May of 2025 to fill a vacated spot by Sergeant Biscup. A little bit about Michael. Michael began his career in 2014 with the New Hanover County Sheriff's Office, where he worked in the jail as a sworn deputy and in the front desk. He then transitioned to Guilford County Sheriff's Office, where he worked in patrol. He was a detective in vice narcotics. He served in a specialized unit. He was the assistant team commander for the unmanned aircraft team and a member of the civil disturbance unit. Michael holds several certifications. A couple to note: he's a certified detention officer, a general instructor, FTO, and just prior to this meeting, Michael received his intermediate law enforcement certificate. Michael has received a life-saving award through the Guilford County Sheriff's Office and 2 accommodations while working for the Guilford County Sheriff's Office. Michael's wife has a long history here in Emerald Isle vacationing back in the ferry days, as he wrote in his bio. That was back before my time as well. They started vacation here in 2014, and after their daughter was born, they collectively decided this is where they wanted to plant their roots, and so Michael decided to come and join us here at the town of Emerald Isle. So if you would, please join me in congratulating Michael on his recent promotion to sergeant. this time, I'd like to introduce to you Walker Hess. Walker joined the Emerald Isle Police Department in September of 2024 part-time. He is recently promoted back in April of this year to full-time to fill a road in the to fill a spot in the patrol division. Walker's originally from Tulsa, Oklahoma, but has lived in North Carolina since 2021. He graduated basic law enforcement training from Craven Community College in December of 2021. Since graduating BLET and beginning his career in law enforcement, Walker has pursued a wide array of professional training. Some of his certificates include advanced firearm certifications along with crisis intervention training. Walker also is pursuing a higher level of education as he seeks his bachelor's degree in criminal justice. Walker believes in furthering his knowledge. He takes pride in serving the community with professionalism, integrity, and a strong commitment to public safety. Outside work, Walker enjoys staying active by bodybuilding and martial arts, which helps him remain focused and disciplined both on duty and off. So if you would join me in welcoming Walker Hess. And our last introduction is Dakota Willis. Dakota Willis joined our team in April of 2025. He began his law enforcement career as a corrections officer for the state of North Carolina under the Department of Adult Corrections, where he served for approximately 2.5 years before he became a deputy sheriff with the Carteret County Sheriff's Office, working for Sheriff Asa Buck. While he was a deputy sheriff, he also attended basic law enforcement training, where he was recognized as the top marksman in his class. Dakota will continue to serve as a special deputy with the Carteret County Sheriff's Office. He believes his background has outfitted him with the skills necessary to help keep Emerald Isle safe, and couldn't be happier to be a part of an amazing community. At this time, I give you Officer Dakota Willis.
Thank each of you for coming out and serving our community and being part of it. And we thank you, Chief, for building such a wonderful staff that's protecting all of us. We really appreciate what all you gentlemen do back there and ladies do for us. It's amazing having each one of you making us safe every night. So thank you very much. Next up is Parks Director Candace Dooley.
Yes, hello, good evening, thank you. I am pleased to introduce Miss Jennifer Lemaire, who isn't able to join us this evening. Her day started at 7 a.m., so I let her go home a little bit early today. She's joining Parks and Recreation as our new program supervisor, as our previous supervisor has moved to Alaska. Jennifer officially joined our team last Monday, June the 2nd, and has hit the ground running. She's already completed her first event with our team, which was the Youth Fishing Derby this past Saturday, which was a great success. And she recently earned her bachelor's degree in January of this year and comes to us with 4 years of dedicated service at the Eye Care Center, but she also has previous experience at Parks and Rec as the lead recreation assistant at the Camp Lejeune Marina. Jennifer is from a large, close-knit family and enjoys spending time with her nieces and nephews, and when she's not working, you'll likely find her fishing or enjoying a good book by the beach. We're very excited to have her on board with her creativity and enthusiasm, and we welcome her to the town of Emerald Isle.
All right, welcome to all our new employees and for our staff finding the right people to fit our group here. It's a great staff we have. Let's go to item number 10 here. The consent agenda. On May 13th, we had our regular meeting minutes. May 20th was special meeting minutes, and then a budget amendment, and then a capital project ordinance amendment, and then a resolution to reaffirm the town of Emerald Isle's opposition to offshore oil and gas drilling is following on into this brief summary here. I'd like to need a motion on the floor to approve the consent agenda.
Make a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? It passed 100%. So that is a good resolution to reaffirm the town of Emerald Isle's opposition to offshore oil and gas and drilling. I'd like to see that. All right, next item is item number 11 is the Planning Board and Board of Adjustment clarifications. Interim Planning Director Linda Stab and Town Attorney Mark will open up this, both of y'all please, and let you two decide who needs to talk first, and I will be quiet.
We need to open them. Public hearing first.
Planning board functions in the legislative role, offering recommendations to the board of commissioners.
On the other hand, the Board of Adjustment acts in a quasi-judicial capacity, meaning it makes decisions based on legal standards, and those decisions can be appealed to court. The amendment before you updates the Unified Development Ordinance to reflect changes related to both boards. As presented, the amendment changes the terms of office from 2 years to 3 years. State law doesn't set terms for the Planning Board, however, it does have a minimum term of 3 years for the Board of Adjustment. The ordinance amendment also allows for the Planning Board and the Board of Adjustment to be made up of separate individuals, but it does not require that change. You may still appoint the same individuals to both boards if you wish. The rules of procedure for both boards have also been updated to better align the town's practices with the current North Carolina general statutes. And the highlights there, again, are changing the terms of office from 2 to 3 years, updating the notice and advertisement requirements to align with general statutes, and expanding the Board of Adjustment's rules of procedure to better define evidence, standing, and conflicts of interest consistent with state law. So tonight, you're being asked to consider a motion to approve the presented amendments and consider adoption of the rules of procedure for both the Planning Board and the Board of Adjustment.
All right, thank you.
I think Ms. Staub perfectly explained what we've done. If you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them as to our reasoning or what we have done. Otherwise, I would ask you guys to open up for public hearing and we can get going on that. But I'd be happy to answer anything from you guys first before we open that up.
Is there any questions from the board on, before we open public hearing?
I don't have any.
Make a motion to open the public hearing.
There's a motion on the floor to open public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? We're in public comment.
I didn't have any signups for the public hearing.
Okay. Would anybody at this time like to comment that's in the audience at this time on the what we're discussing at this point? We have one comment in the back. Please come up to, if you could, come up. So we're online also, so if you can use the mic would be very helpful. Thank you. Just please state your name for the record if you don't mind. Thank you.
Ethel Drive.
Thank you, Ms. Fuller.
I actually just have a question about the procedures this evening. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to have that answered. But if you approve what was just presented, does that preclude you from then separating the Board of Adjustment and the Board of Planning and the Planning Board later? That's my question, because it seems like the public is a vested interest in potentially having you consider separating the two boards.
Yes, ma'am. I'll let Mark, if you could answer that question, please. That's our town attorney, by the way.
Should the board wish to, they can enact a full split of the board. Just given the timing of everything, we wanted to present a flexible option for the board, given that we have not had appointments to either one for a good bit now. So we wanted just to make sure that we could have some people on the board so we can get moving. At any point, if the board wishes to, they can enact a full split, or they can put it back together all as one. That's completely at their discretion. And I may also add that these boards as a whole are discretionary. So there is very little guidance from the general statutes as to how we proceed with them. Some towns don't even have either one. But we are fortunate enough to have a group of commissioners who emphasizes the importance of these. And I think today we've presented a fair option to transition. Should the board wish to split it entirely, that would be up to them. And I hope that answers any other questions that may be out there.
Ms. Clerk, there was one email that was just brought to my attention that somebody was wanting read out loud. Do you have that by chance? Okay. Thank you. You want this? All right, this is from Laura Ahunu and Ahunu, I'm sorry, Laura Ahunu, apologize for the name. And she's requested that during the public comment to please read this letter out loud during the public comment section of tonight's town meeting. So upon her request, I'll read it out loud. In light of the issues highlighted by the recent legal issues with the Brownlow property, I agree with the proposal to appoint a separate Board of Adjustment from the Planning Department appointees. I urge that only qualified residents be appointed to both and the qualifications be announced at the town meeting where they are appointed. Further, I endorse the proposal that there to be reasonable term limits on all the above positions. Please read this letter out loud during public comment section of tonight's town meeting. Thank you for your considerations. So I read it out loud as her request. We accomplished that goal. And that's under the public comment. That's her speaking and not myself. Is there any other comments that anybody else would like to talk about? If not, I'll need a motion on the floor to close public comment.
Motion to close public hearing.
All right, there's a motion on the floor to close public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? We're now out of public hearing. There's a consideration of a proposed UDO amendments, and let me flip to the page here. All right, the next item is popping up. It says there's a motion to adopt the proposed UDO amendments clarifying provisions pertaining to the planning board and the Board of Adjustment. So there needs to be a motion made to adopt the proposed UDO that we just heard about just then, one of the commissioners.
I'll make a motion to adopt the proposed UDO amendments clarifying provisions pertaining to the Planning Board and Board of Adjustment.
There's a motion on the floor to make the adjustments. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The motion passed. The next item is a motion to adopt the revised Planning Board Rules of Procedures. Need a motion to, on the floor, please.
Motion to adopt the revised Planning Board Rules of Procedure.
There's a motion on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passed to revise the Planning Board Rules of Procedures. A motion to adopt the revised the Board of Adjustment Rules of Procedure. There's a motion. Need to make a motion on that one.
I'll make a motion to adopt the revised Board of Adjustment Rules of Procedure.
The motion on the floor to adopt the adjusted rules and procedures. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? It passed 100%. Planning Board appointments. What we're going to do now is there's a new way we're doing this. It's a written ballot, and I'll ask the clerk to please bring out the written ballot. And then we will read the, we're all going to write down or check off the people that's on the board, and then I'll present each of you with who's been selected once they do this. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Taylor, Commissioners, just for the public's benefit, there are a total of 9 applicants for 4 slots on the Planning Board. The 3 existing members of the Planning Board, their terms are set to expire in March of 2026 with the revised UDO and also the Planning Board Rules of Procedures. We would suggest you extend those terms until June 30th of 2026 to help us set up staggered terms going forward. So you have the opportunity to vote for 4 individuals to serve on the Planning Board. The top 2 vote getters would serve a 3-year term. The second 2 vote getters would serve a 2-year term. Certainly, if you want to reverse that, you're welcome to do that if you'd like. But for the audience's benefit, there are 9 applicants for 4 slots.
All right, thank you. All right, if you would kindly, Ms. Clerk, if you could kindly pick these up and tally the votes here, and then you can. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We had 9 people wanting to serve, so congratulations very shortly to the 4 that are selected, and thank you to the total 9 for willing to step forward and serve your town and serve the people of Emerald Isle. It's quite an honor to do that. As soon as we find out who the next 4 are going to be, then we can move forward with a decision on how we stagger the vote. We'll open the floor up to the commissioners. In fact, while she's counting that up, is there any ideas, commissioners, that how you'd like to work this?
Yeah, I'll start. First of all, thanks everybody for coming out, and thank you very much everybody that applied to serve. It is it's important to get as much involvement as we can, and I love seeing 9 folks apply for these positions. I definitely support appointing separately to the Board of Adjustments for a lot of the reasons that were raised in the public comment tonight, but also in the many conversations I've had with folks over the past couple of months. That idea of separation between the 2 boards, as well as opening up the opportunity for people with skill sets or experience that are very well suited to serving in those individual roles. I think it makes a lot of sense for the town, and so I support the idea of appointing the planning board tonight and then subsequently doing the Board of Adjustments probably at next month's meeting.
I agree. Anything of you, Commissioner?
No, I appreciate the candidates that applied for the planning board are highly qualified from what I can tell for the most part. And the ones that would speak to me that were, I was very impressed with the quality of the candidates. And I'm excited to see that many people willing to serve their community. It's a tough job, kind of like an umpire's job. You know, no matter what call you make, you call it the way you see it. One side of the bleacher is going to be cheering for you. The other side's going to be cussing you, want you to lend you their glasses. So but it is a very rewarding experience. It can be a challenging experience. And as long as you're willing to roll up your sleeves and get to work and be a part of your community and leave your thumbprint on the beach sand, not only on the beach sand, but on the quality of the life we have in Emerald Isle, these are great opportunities for you to get on these committees. Thank you.
Commissioner Sanderson, would you like to comment?
I'd like to express my appreciation to all those who applied. It's always great to see the interest that there is out there in serving in the community. Thank you.
And I furthermore say what they're saying too. It's quite an honor. It's very challenging. You have to have a tough shoulder and a tough chin to take some of the criticism sometime, but that's what it's there for, to make you a better appointed or elected official. So thank you for doing that. And what we'll do now is, if you would kindly just give me or if you want to bring me the 4 names up and I can read them out loud that was chosen. I won't read, I'm just going to read the top 4. I'm not going to read any past the top 4, and that'll be our new appointed officials. Okay, sounds good. So because of the vote count, I understand. All right, so she even made it easier for us. There was actually what votes got what, and it made the vote, made it where we got 2 3 years and 2 2-year terms. So Jim Duvalvic is in for a 3-year term. Bill Little is in for a 2-year term. Chris Plum is in for a 3-year term. And Kenny Sullivan is in for a 2-year term. So that'll be your next planning board candidates, and the vote is final. Congratulations to our top 4. Once again, thank you for all 9. Please consider, it looks like we'll be moving forward with another board here by next month, and I hope that you'll apply for that position if that does materialize. And I'll leave this here for your records. All right, moving right along. Congratulations again.
Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, we will, assuming the board concurs with this, we will resolicit applicants for the Board of Adjustment positions, and we'll also ask the individuals who were not selected tonight if they would like to be considered for the Board of Adjustment. We'll schedule that for your July regular meeting. The other thing I just wanted to point out is that we will contact the 4 new members, and we'll set up an orientation session with those new members sometime in the next couple of weeks and get them ready to hit the ground running in July. So,
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Manager.
And Frank, are we going to have, I'd like to see some formal training too for the Board of Adjustment members especially, because that is it's a highly legal procedural board. You know, it's a quasi judicial, which means it pretty much follows a courtroom procedure. I think our attorney could better explain the process, but it is based on evidence. It's based on witnesses, testimony, documentations, the facts. And it's highly critical that the participants that are on the Board of Adjustment abide by those, including any ex parte communication, ex parte or parte communication. So I hope that we would have someone from the School of Government come in and possibly do some training with our candidates once we get those set up.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll schedule the appropriate training with them, and you're correct. The Board of Adjustment procedures are more complex, so we'll make sure that that occurs.
Thank you very much.
And I would just add to that, I think our revised Board of Adjustment procedures really detail from A to Z how a typical Board of Adjustment procedure would go. And so I think even just by looking at that alone, that will give us a much better understanding, and our prospective members a better understanding of how this goes. But I support that 100%.
Thank you.
All right. Let me get my notes back in here, and we'll get back on path now. Okay, so as Frank, our town manager, just spoke of, we're going to put out for a Board of Adjustments. There's going to be an application process that you can apply for, just like we did with the Planning Board. And I highly recommend that the members that didn't get selected to please apply for that. And if something you would like to serve on the Board of Adjustments, very shortly, look at the website, and I'm sure there'll be other information that'll be sent out that you can figure out the right way. And of course, you can reach out to each one of us or town staff. Give us a couple of days to get that straightened out, and then if you're interested in serving on the Board of Adjustments, then it'll be the same process. In July, we'll have a list of names that are interested in it, and then I think that worked very well, that way we voted that time, and we can continue with that process. It seems to work good. All right, moving on to the budget adoption. And this is our...
Pro Tem,
Yes,
I would like to request recusal from discussion of item 12A through E based on potential conflict of interest.
Okay. We have a motion, a request on the board to be excused due to, what was the reason? I'm sorry.
Potential conflict of interest.
Potential conflict of interest. I'd like to make a motion, I guess. Can I make that? How do I excuse her? I'm sorry. Does she just have to be a motion to excuse her?
Yes, sir, it would be a motion to
I can do that.
Okay. One of the commissioners could.
I'll do that. I'd like to make a motion to excuse Commissioner Sanderson from item 12, A through E, discussion and voting.
All right, there's a motion on the floor to excuse Commissioner Sanderson through items A through E, which would be public hearing, budget ordinance, fee schedule, 5-year capital replacement, and the 25-26 pay plan. There's a motion on the floor. All in favor? Aye. Aye.
And I would just remind to bring her back in whenever we have.
Sure. And Commissioner Sanderson is going to step down from the table and join the audience at this time. And we're still good legally with the 3 of us up here. All right, so we still have enough commissioners to continue the process. And at this point, we'll continue the process. All right. And now I'll hand it over to Finance Director and my good friend, please.
Thank you.
The floor is yours.
All right, thank you. I'll be brief, and I have a couple slides to put up in just a minute. But during our regular board meeting in May,
we presented to the board the full-blown budget, and just as a reminder to the public, the budget document is on our website if anybody'd like to look at it. There's a lot of detail there. The town staff and manager, we presented a 10.25 cent tax rate and a annual solid waste fee of $335 per residential unit. And this recommendation was just under 1 cent above the town's calculated revenue neutral tax rate. That revenue neutral tax rate was calculated at 9.29 cents. And that would be the rate, again, just for everybody's benefit, is if we just left the property taxes the same as in our current budget. Some of the notable changes in our recommended budget include the addition of 3 full-time firefighters, an increase to the service for year-round ambulance coverage at Coast Guard Road, and also replacement capital items such as patrol vehicles and replacement backhoe for Public Works. At that time, we also asked the board to consider up to a 1 cent increase in the tax rate to specifically fund upcoming large construction projects such as Fire Station 2, stormwater improvement projects, street paving, just to name a few. And tax revenues would supplement existing grant funds that we have for many of those projects. We took the feedback that we received at the May 20th budget workshop, and tonight we're offering 2 versions for the board to consider, and we would ask that the board select a version for adoption. And so let me thank you guys for the slides. So the first version, this version would incorporate the 10.25 cents that we recommended. We also heard at the workshop that we should consider a 0.25 cent increase to address employee salaries and retention. We would, and by doing that, we would increase the proposed COLA from 2.5 cents that was in our original recommended budget to 3%. I said cents, excuse me, 2.5% to 3% COLA. We would ensure that all our part-time employees' minimum pay rate is at $15, and we would provide funding potentially for a consulting firm to perform a salary and benefit study for competitiveness for our staff. And then any reserve out of that penny, or that quarter penny, would be set aside for targeted adjustments for select positions for merit or retention. And so that's incorporated. And then we also recommended a 1 cent increase, which would generate approximately $585,000 for those large-scale construction projects. So the version A that you have in your budget book, the total budget for all annual funds would be just under $16 million. That's your general fund, which is $15.2 million, and then our Future Beach Nourishment Fund and our Special Events Fund. And you can see that breakdown. That would have a tax rate of 11.5 cents. 10 cents would be for general services, and then we would specify a ½ cent for beach nourishment that we would transfer to the Future Beach Nourishment Fund, and then we'd have that penny for the capital projects. Our Future Beach Nourishment tax rate would be at 2.2 cents. Again, that is a revenue neutral rate for the Future Beach Nourishment, and then our solid waste fee would be $335 a year. And so that was the first option. Frank, I know, gave a very good explanation in the memo, and I think he talked to each of you that we looked at it and we said, well, do we have to do that 1 cent for capital project now? Not necessarily. So option B, or version B in adoption, would be to do all the other things. We would have a 10.5 cent tax rate that would still allow for the salary and retention items that I just mentioned. But what we would do was hold off on that penny for capital projects, those big construction projects, and that would allow us to work on the projects, and then we could bring that up again at a later date, and probably would be this time next year. And so that's the only difference between the 2 versions of the budget, is that 1 cent that we talked about for those large construction projects, and you'll see the items there. And so that would bring our total budget to $15.3 million, and then the general fund would be 14.6, and we would still have the same for Future Beach Nourishment and our Special Events Fund.
And so I'll pause there. I think I usually try to blurt it all out at once, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. And I have Frank here, of course, and Randy if they might have some answers for you. So I'll pause.
Very good. Commissioners, do y'all have some questions? Start with you, Commissioner Wheaton.
Just a question, the difference between Plan A and Plan B, would that affect the completion dates of any of the capital projects, whether we pass the penny now or pass it a year from now?
I don't believe so. The current schedule for Fire Station 2, the goal is to open that in the spring of 2027. I don't think this decision will affect or delay that schedule for that project or any of the other stormwater projects we're working on. As you all know, we have significant grant funds available for each of the projects that were identified. So by the time we get through design, get through construction, if we do need additional funds for any higher than anticipated costs, there's sufficient time to levy that additional tax rate next year. If you do wind up issuing debt to cover the additional costs associated with these projects, it's likely those debt service payments will not occur for at least another year, probably more like a year and a half, perhaps even a little longer, depending on how things go. So we, regardless of which option you select tonight, we will be moving full speed ahead on the projects that you've identified as priorities for the community.
But it's fair to say, and I might be thinking out loud here, but I think it's fair to say that we are going to need more money for some of these larger capital projects. We just don't necessarily need it today. But not needing it today means we almost definitely will need it next year unless something significant changes between now and then. But it's not that we're avoiding it, it's just delaying the beginning of that penny tax for the capital investment.
That's
Is that a good way to think about it?
That's the decision before you all tonight, yeah. So over the course of the next year, really over the course of the next several weeks and months, we'll be taking a hard look at the scope of the projects and the cost estimates for the projects, working closely with the staff, with design consultants, potentially the contractors, trying to identify ways to achieve the project goals, get them done on the schedule that you all have talked about, hopefully lower the cost a little bit more. But I think if the revised cost estimates come to fruition, then yeah, you would be looking at an additional tax increase next year.
Okay, thank you.
Is that it, Commissioner?
Yeah,
Are you
I'm good.
How about you, Commissioner?
This is a good budget. I like the fact that we got a couple of options up there, and I appreciate the effort that you and Randy and Frank and the department heads and staff have worked diligently to produce a very good and healthy budget for our town. And there are some things that I stayed up till about 2 o'clock this morning looking at this thing, trying to take it all in and just thinking down the road, because it's not about from year to year. It's also about 30, 40 years from now, looking at our long-range trajectory for our community. One of the reasons I ran for office was to ensure that, preserve what we love about Emerald Isle for my grandsons growing up here. I want them to enjoy the same thing that I've been able to live here and enjoy all my life for 60-some plus years living here. And so, and I'm just a little concerned about the amount of debt, and I'd like to see some actions to start now in preparing to reduce the amount of debt that we are taking on. We also have to look at I think if we graph the budget and the trajectory and look at where we're going and we pay off the debt and get it knocked down, that we'll be in a healthy position to stay like one of the lowest tax rated towns in North Carolina as far as coastal North Carolina goes. We are one of the lowest. And so I'd like to see plans to start doing a negative reversal on the expenditures and reduce expenses. And that I think we talked about that last time at the budget workshop with Randy. We talked about doing like fiscal analysis, taking all the contractors and vendors, looking at all those. Are we really getting the best bang for our buck with all the contractors and vendors? Are we looking at all the departments carefully and scrutinize, do we need, is it better to lease cars, purchase cars? Just look at everything and totally evaluate it and check that out. So that way, the FEMA, in fact, I mentioned it at the last meeting, I was concerned about FEMA not being around and kind of leaving us out there with a bunch of capital outlay. And lo and behold, a letter came out last week or between last meeting and this meeting from FEMA that they're cutting some funds already. And so that was, I'm not a prophet, but there's writings on the wall with that. And so nothing's free. And even though we're acquiring a lot of stuff with FEMA assistance, there's still the maintenance and upkeep on that. So looking at long term, I want to do everything I can to take the burden off of taxpayers. And one way to do that is that we are a resort community, and we're very healthy as far as that goes. While everyone else kind of was down in tourism, our numbers show that I think we were up in tourism within Emerald Isle. And I think there's some very healthy revenue funding sources within that tourism that we haven't tapped into yet. And I think if we do that will take a lot of the burden off of the taxpayers. And we probably might not need to add another penny on for another year or so. I mean, so whatever we can do to offset the cost and put the burden on our taxpayers here in our community and having other innovative revenue sources, that's what I really like to see. And I'm seeing some of it in this budget. I saw that back here in the budget amendment. I was real impressed with that, seeing that we're able to put some money back in. And so those were good indicators. We're off to a good start with that. So, and Frank and I have talked about that. I talked about it with Randy. And so that's where I'm looking at down the road. But for right now, do we need some of these capital improvements in our town? Absolutely we do. And do we need to take care of our staff to make sure we can recruit and retain high quality staff and qualified? Yes, we do. Absolutely. And I support that wholeheartedly. So thank you for that opportunity to talk extensively.
Yes, sir.
But that's my notes, and I'm available to talk one-on-one after the meeting with anyone that would like to talk to me. Thanks.
All right, that leaves it to me now. So we've met a long time, and some of the capital improvements is one thing that I've served on for the last 5 years is the new fire department, and that's the biggest thing. And as most of you know, our main fire department is outdated. It's old. It's got to be replaced. That's just the way it is. And sometime or another, your neighbor or yourself is going to need an ambulance or need a fire truck. Hopefully that won't be the case, but the chances are that as we all get older, that's what's going to happen. So we got to protect those investments. And when I say protect them, our fire station is a little bit small, and some of these new equipment we're getting is a little bit bigger than it is, so it won't actually fit in the holes that they park them in. It's going to sit out in the rain and the salt, and we got to protect that stuff because these fire trucks are not cheap anymore, and these ambulances aren't cheap. So that's another reason we need them. You don't buy a new fire truck and leave it sitting out in the rain for a long period of time or in the salt air. Just not the way to take care of your investments. We got some funding that we need to watch out for too, and this is my question to both of y'all right now. If we delay it too long, are we in jeopardy? Because Commissioner Rear was talking about this funding's going away. How long can we stretch this out and they decide, hey, you no longer get your $700,000 that we have saved for fire station number 1, or sorry, fire station number 2? That's just a question are we putting ourselves in jeopardy by not looking at the project a long period of time? And maybe, Frank, I think you're ready to talk, so let's hear that one.
Yeah, so regardless of the option that you select tonight for the budget, we will proceed with these projects on the same schedule regardless. So I don't think we're putting anything in jeopardy regardless of the decision you make tonight.
That's good, because, it's free money in a sense, but in the sense there is always a cost for anything that's free, as the commissioner said over here. And we applied and worked hard, serving on that committee for 5 years and trying to find a spot. And I couldn't tell you how many times we came close to finding a place to build the fire station on Coast Guard Road or where we were going to do it. And either the land all of a sudden increased times 20, or we couldn't get approval to get the land there. So it's been quite challenging to find a place to build adequate fire department. We started out, and our ultimate goal was to have a primary in the middle, the bigger one, and then have 2 other fire stations, a small one on one side of the aisle and the other one on the small side of the aisle. And it all comes down to the tourism and trying to get to the location as fast as we can and put the fire out. So that's our ultimate goal on the committee that I serve on, is to have 3 spots, but that's very costly too, to have 3 fire stations. 3 small ones. Our new manager now, he's working hard, and he wants to give him a little bit of time. He's only been in the seat now for a week and 2 days, and there might be some options that he can see that that might help us get this, get our ultimate goal and reach that spot. Tax burden, I don't want to do a tax burden on the people either, and I want to be strong with that. But in the same sense, it's coming unless you don't want to have an ambulance. And the only time, I guess, that it's kind of like the sound, one of the guys talked about the sound of freedom when it flies over and people complain about the jets and stuff. That's the same thing of that ambulance coming or that fire station coming. You don't like to hear them until it's coming to your house. So we got to protect those guys. We got to keep that staff strong. We got to pay them the way we're doing them, and that's what's in this budget here. We were kind of falling behind a little bit. Each day the city's increase, it's, I hate to say it, but we've got some of the best employees around, and everybody's shooting for them and trying to get them, and they're always trying to get them, and they're going to throw a little bit more money at them, and that's what happens. So we have to stay with them and try to keep them there, and it's only fair to them that that we're doing that. So I'm happy to see that's in both plans A and B, that we're going to keep their pay up where it should be up, and it keeps us competitive too for the new guys. You just saw 3 great police officers coming on board for us, and they're still here to make an income. They want to come and work at Emerald Isle and be here, but in the same sense, they got to be able to justify it to their families and stuff, along with the lady that's in the Parks and Rec, so because they're highly wanted. That's kind of where I'm at on it. You know, it's important that we think about that. We think about our people, and that's all I got really to say. I think y'all answered my questions very well. Thanks for being patient to listen to me and seeing where we're at. Now, I tried to give you a definition of, explain to you the last 5 years what's been going on with this thing and how it keeps, I don't want to say kicking the can down the road, but it's time that we need to get this fire department under control and get it done, in my opinion. All right, that's it for that. We need to now open up a public hearing. You've kind of heard what we've all spilled our beans out here, so now we'll listen to all y'all. So at this time, I'd like to get a motion on the floor to open up public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing to discuss the FY 25-26 budget ordinance.
All right, there's a motion on the floor to open up for a budget. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it passed by 3. All right, so this is your chance to speak up if you're not liking what you're hearing, or if you've got some better ideas for us, and please work with us, and we'll try to figure this one out.
So I have no sign-ups on the sheet.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any comments they would like to talk about our budget at this time? Any thoughts that we're not saying, or something we might have said that didn't agree with you, or something we might have agreed with you? Yes, ma'am, please come to the front and state your name and tell us what we can do better, or what we're doing right.
Patricia Leonard, Cedar Street.
Thank you, ma'am.
Am I hearing that y'all are not in favor of this budget? Is that what, that you kind of have some questions about some of it? About leasing cars, buying cars? You know, I think this was talked about last year, and I do not know if anything has changed. I think that we had been leasing a bunch of vehicles for the town. Are we still doing that, or have we stopped, and did we purchase some vehicles? Which was going to be the most cost-effective?
Right. So I'll let manager answer that question if you'd like.
So the town still has several current vehicle lease agreements in effect, and those will remain in effect for the remainder of that term. The fiscal year 25-26 budget, whichever version is adopted by the board tonight, includes funding for the purchase of several vehicles. There is a new knuckle boom truck. I think there are some police vehicles, some fire vehicles included in there as well, but those would be purchased by the town.
But those are like work trucks, not a little pickup truck that somebody drives around instead of his personal car.
Yeah, there are several vehicles in there. And I know we have a knuckle boom truck in there. I know we have some public safety vehicles, police vehicles included in there. Are there any pickup trucks included in there?
No, the pickup trucks would be a lease. So we have a sufficient budget to continue a lease or to turn in an old lease and get a new lease vehicle. So we have that, and the knuckle boom truck would be financed with a bank loan because it's such a significant vehicle. And then we have 2 patrol vehicles that we would buy with cash outlay. So we do have a mixture of both owned cars and lease cars. It's not 100% either way, it's a mixture. So, and that is current in our current situation, and we carried that over in the 2026 budget.
So there's not really a difference in purchasing your vehicles or leasing your vehicles. You see no financial difference in the two. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
No, I was just trying to answer what's in the budget. So that I think is a pretty complicated discussion about how long do you keep them and different, what financing method you choose, and so, but.
Yeah, I think I can step in for a minute, just to help with that. I'm sorry, Lord, to interrupt. So the way the town looks at it, and then, and I'm sorry, but we're still in that time thing too. I don't want to keep it going too long. So we, as the commissioners sit up here and sit, and then the town staff looks at it, we look at each individual car, is the best way to explain it, or truck. And whatever saves the town the most money is the way we go. Sometimes buying a knuckle truck is better for the town financially to buy it. And then sometimes it's better for the town to lease one if we're only going to keep it for 2 years when you weigh in the maintenance on it, the tires and all that stuff, and we're going to turn it back in. And another reason that we might lease one too is it keeps a new, say, an officer. That's one of those competitive things that they're going to ride around in a new car for 2 years. Or if we buy one, it might be a 4 year. So now they're riding around in a 4-year car instead of a 2-year car, and then we can turn it back in. But the way I understand it is this one commissioner, and if I'm speaking wrong, please speak up, other commissioners. It's whatever is the best benefit to the town money-wise is the way we look at each situation. And that's flexible because sometimes leases increase or decrease, where it might be smarter to buy the car this year, where last year it might have been smarter to lease the car, and it rotates around.
I was not questioning your fire and police vehicles. I was questioning your supervisors who go here, there, and yonder for anything, meetings or to check on whatever,
Right, I understand.
I was not questioning fire, police, our service people.
Right.
But I was questioning the use of vehicles lease versus own for supervisor, clerical people, those type folks. I think that they could drive a 4-year-old car versus getting a new car every 2 years.
Right. Understand what you're seeing from. Okay, perfect. All right, no problem. And I don't want to drag out the meeting, and this might be more of a, for your own information, it might be something more to schedule, because we're trying to keep it under the time frame. So, but thank you for your questions, and we're happy to get up with you at a later date or schedule a meeting with the town manager to explain it even better for you. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
In fact, when I was referencing about the innovative ways to generate revenue, there are some leases that the town's returning back, and correct me if I'm got this number wrong, but what I got out of here last night was that we're leveraging new revenue of $168,978 from leases, returning back vehicles, and then from surplus property sales. That's for an additional, like fire, $158,222. So believe it or not, the leases can be, in some instances, revenue sources, and in other cases, they can be black holes that money gets poured into.
All right, well, unless y'all have anything else, we're going to. Anybody else? Oh, yes, ma'am, please, if you could come up to the thing. And just to clarify again, we'll keep that 3 minutes rolling, and I'm sorry I've not been a good judge of that, and I apologize for the people that's doing that. So we'll roll the 3 minutes, and we'll go with that. Thank you.
Sorry, Sarah Fullwood again, Ethel Drive. I just have a couple of quick questions, and my apologies, I haven't had a chance to do a thorough review of the budget. But it looks like there was a $1.3 million increase in total general fund from last year. And if you could you just tell us a little bit? I know that we're increasing pay for the employees and the benefits, but is there anything additional that was added into the budget, like festivals or anything like that, that would be included in that increase? I think I've got the numbers right from what I pulled up. And then could you also use an example of the average home price for tax value and what that 1 cent would mean? I think if I'm doing it correctly, I think if you're on like a $750,000 home, it's about $75. So if that's the case, I personally would be happy to pay that. But what I would like to see is what the woman alluded to earlier. Instead of a $35 increase in my fees for my trash, perhaps pass that on to those that have 11 trash cans. So, thanks.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right. Is there any other questions that, commissioners? Any questions from the audience? Anything else that anybody would like to talk about? Yes, sir, please. Thank you.
I can't listen to nonsense.
Thank you.
Scott Stewart, Black Skimmer Road. I'm just talking about what the lady before me was talking about, ways to generate revenue and so forth.
I'm sorry, there's, just for the people online so they can hear you also. Thank you.
So one of the things with all the rental properties, the folks who live here like me full-time, we're the minority around here, simply put. And there's no oversight on the rental properties whatsoever. One of the ways you can do that is simply a compliance certificate for a rental property. And that would be a huge generator. And it'll also be a safety enhancer. Egress, smoke detectors, things like that get checked. And then you tie in that garbage cans, the parking spaces. I have a personal thing going on, which I'll come see Mr. Rush at some point on. But all those things to do with the rentals can fall under one umbrella of compliance, which you have none of. Just used to seeing it done differently there. And I think it would make for a smoother interface with the rentals from the full-time people. And it really would be a positive as far as revenue.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Scott.
And Mr. Stewart, I've been working on a, for lack of a better term, a tourism management plan for sustainable tourism and innovative revenue streams. And it covers the trash can inequities. It addresses, Frank and I were talking about that today, maybe perhaps a permit fee that can be a revenue stream. And so, but this is all early in the works. It's going to take a year of planning and a lot of work.
Right. The thing I've noticed, and a lot of us folks are from different parts of the country, so you see different things, simply put.
Hey, sir, can I ask you just to raise that off the wood? There you go, perfect.
I'm sorry.
It's popping real bad.
I'm sorry. And so you see, you're just exposed to other things, other ways of doing things. And so a lot of the things we need or could be made useful of are already being done somewhere else. We just haven't tuned into it yet. So there's a lot of easy answers out there if we look around and consider them. I guess that's all I'm saying.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's what it's going to take, gentlemen like this speaking up and giving us ideas and working with your thing and keeping it good. So thank you for speaking up. Yes, ma'am, please.
103 Sandcastle Drive, speaking as a resident of Emerald Isle at this point, but also being through the last budget process. A couple considerations for those that are voting for the budget tonight. I have everybody from the county recognizes the sticker shock that we have experienced with the reval this year. So it may be a consideration in the municipalities when they're voting that maybe if you can plan to slow roll your increase and not do it all in the same reval year, that might be beneficial. And I get that you don't want to, stare the train wreck down, but it's been a sticker shock, and those of us at the county recognize that. The other thing is you've got a brand-new town manager who alluded before that maybe those capital projects he wants to look at and examine a little longer to see if there's some savings and some maximizing of resources that you can use in order to bring that anticipated capital down. So there could be some advantage to not taking one of the plans in your consideration. Thank you.
And Commissioner, we need the county to keep supporting this on a tax, what's that quota that by per capita or not? Ad valorem, yeah, excuse me.
And it's in everybody's best interest at Emerald Isle not to have that conversation.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, is there anybody else that would like to comment about the public hearing at this point? If not, I need a motion to go out of
I
public.
make a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion on the floor to close public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public hearing is now closed. And let's see where we're at.
Motion to adopt.
Yep. All right, so now we're at the time where we will decide on adopting the new motion for the budget for the 26-27 year. And I have two commissioners in front of me here, or beside me, and the floor is yours.
Make a motion to adopt the fiscal year 25-26 budget ordinance version B with the 10.5 general fund tax rate.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor now. Version B to incorporate it. Sound good? Is there any other?
Which that was the lower option, to kind of ease it in because of the revow and all that sticker shock. Yes, it's very much there.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That's none. So version B has now passed. This incorporates a total general fund tax rate of 10.5%. And this will delay the 1 cent for the capital improvements until FY 26-27. That motion has now passed. There you go. And I believe after a long discussion with a lot of people involved with this, and I like what our county commissioner talked about, that gives our town manager time to recheck, look at what we're trying to move forward with, see if there's a way we can save some money, save some funds. And my ultimate goal sitting on that committee would be 2 small fire stations on each end of the island and a big one in the middle. That's my personal choice. I think it's the best choice for everybody in Emerald Isle, and hopefully we can work and find a way to do what we need to do. Just remember that next year, that's another year that's now passed with a fire station that we needed 2 years ago. So be thinking about that. It's very important that we take care of that. All right.
I'd like to make a motion to bring Commissioner Sanderson back into this meeting after her recusal.
If I'm not mistaken, there are 2 other items.
Oh, is there? I'm sorry. Let's see.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The fee schedule or?
I missed it.
Yep, so let's stand by for 1 second. If you can hold that motion for one, or remove your motion.
Oh, yeah, I'll withdraw that motion.
That motion has now been withdrawn. Next item is the fee schedule for 25-26 fee schedule.
I'll make a motion to adopt the FY 25-26 fee schedule.
There's a motion on the floor to adopt the 25-25 fee schedule. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? It's passed unanimously. The next item is a 5-year capital replacement improvement plan. Need a motion on the floor for that one.
Motion to adopt the 5-year capital replacement improvement program.
There's a motion on the floor to adopt. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? It passed unanimously. And the last one is the 25-26 pay plan.
Make a motion to adopt the FY 25-26 pay plans.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? It passed unanimously. All right, so now, would you make that motion again?
Yeah, now I'll make a motion to bring Commissioner Sanderson back into the meeting.
All right, all in favor to bring Commissioner Sanders back into the meeting?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, a lot of work went into this, trying to work through this stuff, and thank you for your patience, thanks for your understanding, thanks for all your comments that you did to get us to a budget for the 25-26 years. And hopefully our new pay schedule for our employees, they'll be happy with that, and show that this board and this group of commissioners and mayor are trying to take care of our staff, and very, very much need them to take care of all of y'all also. The next item up on the agenda is the comments from the town clerk.
No comment.
No comments. How about our town attorney?
Just going to keep it short today, but in the future, I do plan to give legislative updates based on what's going on in the General Assembly. Long meeting today, so I'll just keep it short. Thank you all for coming out, and have a great night. And thank you, Mr. Randy, for your wonderful service to the town of Emerald.
And now from our newly appointed town manager. It's been a while since we've heard you speak. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so thank you all. Just want to let everybody know I'm just very thankful for the opportunity to serve the town again, to serve you in your roles as elected officials, to work closely with our staff and our residents, property owners, as well as our business owners. Just a privilege and an honor for me to return to the town. I've already gotten reacquainted with many familiar faces and look forward to getting reacquainted with more as time goes by. I've got 7 days under my belt right now in the office, and so just can't say enough how much I appreciate the opportunity. So thank you for allowing me to serve. I do want to also thank Randy Martin for his exceptional work for the town over the last few months, as well as providing a smooth transition for me coming into this new role. So thank you, Randy, and get back to retirement real soon. And a couple of other things just to update you on. One is that we are moving on the new fire station. We actually have interviews with contractors set up for this Thursday. So depending on how that goes, I hope that we'll bring you a contract recommendation at your July meeting and get the ball rolling on Fire Station 2, and then certainly be looking at all of the other projects that you have on your list going forward. Still recruiting for a new planning director. We've received a total of now 16 applications. Hope to set up some interviews with the top candidates here in the next week or two and get that process rolling as well. Very thankful to have Linda Staub working with us as the interim planning director, and I think if I have to handcuff her to the door, we'll have her here for at least another few months. So glad to have her as well. Several other items in the written materials. One thing that's not in the written materials, the federal government does have funding available for dredging of Bogue Inlet. There's actually $600,000 federal appropriation that's available. We are in conversations with the Corps of Engineers Navigation Branch and the Shore Protection Office to try to get that scheduled sometime in the near future. For those of you who are familiar with Bogue Inlet, the aids to navigation currently take a circuitous route kind of closer to Emerald Isle as you get out toward the ocean bar. It looks like a naturally deep channel is forming in the center of the inlet complex, so we're hopeful that they'll direct their dredging efforts to that area and promote just further distance of the inlet channel away from Emerald Isle. So working on that as well. Again, thank you so much for the opportunity. Anybody in the community, I'm happy to help any way I can. So please call me, email me, stop by the town hall. Happy to help. And again, thank you.
Thank you. Would you care to comment or anything to say there, our lovely accountant?
Thank you.
I didn't want to leave you out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a no comment, but thank you for asking, I appreciate
Sure,
it.
no
It's
problem.
getting late, but thanks.
No, sure problem. And why don't we start on my far left with Commissioner Sanderson and
Yes, I'd like to reiterate, thank you, Randy, for your second tenure here as interim manager. You've done a phenomenal job once again, and we thank you for everything that you've brought to us in keeping us on track and moving forward at all times. Congratulations to those reappointed and those recently appointed to the Planning Board. Look forward to service with you and wish you well. Thank you.
Commissioner Brownlow.
All right, first of all, I'd like to say we're so grateful, Randy, for what you've done for our town. You came in and it seemed like you restored order and brought a harmony and peace back, and we're so grateful that you, and a budget time too. What a time to come in, and you did a great job. I've worked with you for a number of years when I was with CAMA, and you were at Morehead City, and you're just you're a consummate professional, and just can't say enough about how grateful we are to have you help us out. And welcome back, Frank. Glad to have you. We go way back too, and I'm looking forward to working with you in this capacity as a commissioner, and already it's hitting the ground running. Can't say enough about how grateful we are for you also. Now, attorney, I think that's a great idea, having those legislative updates, so that way the people, the citizens can hear what's going on in the legislature, and we don't get caught blindsided by that. It's kind of like having a lobbyist out there watching for us and providing those updates so we can plan and prepare for what's coming down in the legislature pipe. Also, I'd like to thank everyone who participated in tonight's meeting, those who shared the perspectives during our public hearings, and the adoption of our annual budget is an important responsibility, and we had your input, and it's essential on that, and we want to be fiscally sound and hope that our services remain at an excellent level like we've been providing for years. And the matter of the Unified Development Ordinance is an important foundation to our town's future also. And so I'd like to thank the staff for their dedication to and hard work in preparing those detailed items for consideration. And I'm confident that by working together, we'll continue to keep Emerald Isle a wonderful place to live, work, and keep it a family beach. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Wooten.
All right, thanks everybody who came out tonight. This was not as, we've had longer meetings, but I appreciate everybody coming out, and I mostly appreciate the participation. I try to get out and talk to a lot of folks, but there's no way I hear from everybody, so this is a great forum to put your 2 cents in, and we really do listen. Thank you, Commissioner Taylor, for the fishing tournament. It's great to see us giving out the scholarships there and the chairs and tables and everything. That's the way these nonprofit things are really supposed to work, giving back to the community. So it's well done. I'd love it if we could find a way to lock in that last week or last Saturday of September so that it's the same time every year. Somebody was asking me last weekend when was the tournament, and I had to flip around, and it took me a minute to figure out. So it'd be great if we could lock in that weekend. Welcome, Frank and Randy. Thank you so much for everything you've done, and Linda for everything that you've done. But Randy, somebody asked me, I said, the more I talk to that guy, the more I like him, and it's still holding up. So I'm looking forward to talking to you even more. I really appreciate your service to our town. You jumped right in and had impact day one. Super sound advice. I really can't say enough, and I know you're a great sounding board for Frank too, so I really appreciate that. Also, thank you, Laura, for the budget, and I know, Randy, you worked real hard on that with her. That's a heavy lift. Jen, the open enrollment, the magic of finding a great insurance plan for all of our employees. That's such an important part of the value proposition wherever it is that somebody works, to have a high-quality insurance plan that's easy to sign up for and easy to participate in. It's really critically important, and I think you guys turned on a dime to make that happen, so I appreciate it. I know it wasn't easy. And then the last thing I will say, I like the point that Sherry made about the fireworks for our 250th national birthday next year. I'm all in to do whatever it takes to get a spectacular fireworks show in place for July 4th of next year. So we should start planning that, talking about it, and do whatever it takes to make it happen. I think it's going to be a great event. So thanks for listening.
And thank you, Commissioner.
Yep.
Commissioner Brownlow would like to add one extra thing, please.
Yeah, I'd like to share, I was out surfing with a friend of mine was it last weekend or weekend before last, and he sustained an injury. He dislocated his shoulder when he's out there surfing, and I'd like to say that the Emerald Isle lifeguards were right there on the spot, helping him out, putting an ice pack on him and helping him out. They gave him a ride, assisted him to the beach access, and all of his friends, we picked up his gear, and we got him to the hospital, and they reset his arm. But just the care that he was given on the beach, like on the spot, just it was tremendous. And she did not leave him until she saw that he was like in our car just about. And that's just remarkable. That's the kind of quality of people we like to have working in Emerald Isle. And Chief, that was kudos to your staff for doing that. That's really, really cool. I got to see it firsthand up in action, and they were tremendously wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And last but me here, thanks for putting up with me again as your acting mayor again. I'm not a Jason Holland, so hopefully I got us through the meeting all right, and I didn't drag it out too long for you.
Did a good job.
Thank you. The Chief, I saw something on Facebook that I want to bring to attention even more, and I was so impressed. There was a post that went out there talking about our staff too, and we had a lifeguard just recently had stopped, and they were still patrolling, so the naysayers said he was not watching the water, but there was other people watching the water along with him at the same time. And when he's standing there, he walks up and he picks up some trash and throws it in the trash can. So that's the kind of people that we're hiring. That's the kind of people we want on Emerald Isle. And I was so happy to see that somebody recognized this person out from the outside. So continue to hire these people, continue to look for those type of people on our staff, and hopefully that might be a future fireman or a future policeman here at Emerald Isle at one time. So I think it's a great stepping stone for the town. A huge thank you to my volunteer staff that for the Emerald Isle Fishing Tournament, and another great congratulations again to the scholarships. We're going to work really hard again this year. The tournament, thank you, Commissioner. The tournament is planned the last full weekend of September from now on out. So that's what we're going to try to do, not try to move it around anymore. When we were younger, a few years back, we had to bounce around some because another tournament would come in and we couldn't compete. But now we're going to stand our ground, and we're going to be the last full weekend in September from now on. So that's where we're going to be at, and hopefully the town will let us use the gymnasium, and that's where we plan on having our event from now on out to long past me being a commissioner anymore, and hopefully I'll be involved with the fishing tournament. Thank you, Frank, for coming and stepping up again. I got to work with you when I was a newly elected official, and it's very nice to have you back on board again. Randy, I got to work with you the first time when Frank left, and I got to work with you again when he came back. So life is truly a circle. And Randy, you're great, and thanks for bringing Linda on board with us. She's been a blessing. Laura, as always, the budget, thank you so much for making it happen for us. And health, getting that stuff for our employees here. As most of you probably know, the League of Municipals reached out and said, hey, guess what? No more health insurance for y'all. And luckily our clerk worked and found us even a better health insurance than we had before. So that was a scary thing that happened about a month and a half ago. We didn't know what we were going to do for health insurance. And luckily, once again, having the right staff and the right people to make it happen is what it's all about. So you're very blessed looking from the inside out and looking from the outside in as a citizen and being a mayor pro temp. I don't know if you fully understand how blessed we are here and how great this place is. So please enjoy it. Please take care of it. Please watch out for each other. Please be respectful for each other, and try to find a medium somewhere to to make the best for Emerald Isle and best for the people, because we can do it, and it's just a matter of us taking care of ourselves. We're a small family, so think of it that way, and we're going to be really good for each other. And with that being said, I'm going to close this meeting out and we can go home. Thank you again. Have a good night, and meeting adjourned.
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah, motion to adjourn.
Aye.
Here we go.